Hello everyone, how's it going? I hope the change of season has been pleasant for you. For me, it's been unseasonably warm. I recently watched Apothecary Diaries and thoroughly enjoyed it, and so I wanted something that would give me the same vibes, but with a faster moving romance, because the slow burn between Mao Mao and Jinshi is slow burning too hard. And so I opened Netflix and scrolled through the Because You Watched Apothecary Diaries recommendations, and I saw My Happy Marriage, which my mother actually recommended to me ages ago. Yes, my mom is just cool like that. And so I decided to give it a watch, in the hope it would satisfy my old-timey chaste but intense love craving. So reading the title My Happy Marriage and looking at this thumbnail, reading a brief description, you think to yourself, this anime is either going to be straightforward and literally about a happy couple overcoming challenges to maintain their happy marriage, or about a couple in an unhappy marriage putting on the front of a happy marriage. It's the first one, but what I did not expect and had no idea about is that this anime is also about wizards? My Happy Marriage is a terrible title for this anime, along the same veins of Rascal Dreams of Bunnyville Senpai. The female lead from My Happy Marriage turns out to be from a famously magically gifted family possessing an extremely rare and powerful gift, that of dream sight. She is literally the only person in the entire world to possess this gift. And our male lead is the most powerful magic person of his generation. He possesses a whole range of abilities and is also very talented with a blade. This anime should be called something like That Time My Horrible Father Gave Me Away to a Cold but Powerful Magician, only for it to turn out I'm powerful too and he's wonderful. Now I'm just joking, but really My Happy Marriage is such a dull name, and there should have been some reference to the political sorcery machinations going on as a secondary plotline to the love story. I even think it would be better if it was called My Arranged Marriage instead of My Happy Marriage. It's just more intriguing that way, and their marriage was arranged. They're just kind of lucky and blessed that they developed true feelings for each other. And there's so much stuff about bloodlines in this anime, maybe they could have incorporated that into the title? I like Kyoko Kuro, and I wish we spent more time with him in his line of work, as he investigates and battles grotesqueries and cults. For me, the coolest moments in this anime belong to him, probably because I like magic, grand gestures, and wizard fighting. I love that he burned the Saimori household to the ground. Like, that was a real inferno. I also loved this moment. Every bit of information we receive about the supernatural aspect of their world is interesting, which sometimes makes other aspects of the story a little dull in comparison. I would have liked to learn more about how magic functions in this world, what the rules are, or the typical way magic manifests. Now, please don't hate me for this, and bear in mind I just watched Apothecary Diaries, and Mao Mao is one of my favorite female characters, and more in line with what I tend to like in a character in general. Mio is far too good and kind and sweet, to the point that her character can be boring and predictable. She definitely does grow throughout the series, and I like that, but I still think she is too good, too kind, and too sweet at the end of season 2. She had a horrible upbringing and spent most of her life being squashed down, so I understand her meekness and the difficulty she has in truly opening up to Kyoka and leaning on him. She sees her existence as a burden, and she doesn't want to put that burden on him. So all of that was very realistic. I would have liked to see her experience anger, even rage. The way her family treated her was wrong. It was despicable. Once she was away from that environment and being treated kindly, it would make sense for resentment and anger to creep in over her previous treatment. Often it's only when you leave a situation that all the feelings catch up to you. And I think this is what should have happened to her. When she's using her dream sight abilities to rescue Kyoka, she comes face to face with a version of herself that believes she's unworthy and that the marriage won't work out. They show that she makes peace with this side of herself, but I wish that this was more of a beginning than an end. More her facing the emotional repercussions of her life rather than making peace with them. It's simply not that easy to put your demons to bed. I feel basically the same about her Dream Sight Maiden awakening, as if it should have been tougher or more built out. And before this, I would have liked to see her tempted to use her abilities to get revenge on the Saimoris. Maybe that's too dark, but maybe she finds herself in her sister's dreams or her stepmother's or her dad's and she's tempted to poke around in there. Once she bonds with her sister-in-law, she realizes how truly shitty her own sister was. This should have kind of made her angry, no? She's always kind and sweet and selfless. It's a bit too one note for me. She should struggle to hold on to those aspects of herself because of the ugliness she's experienced and continues to experience. She gets kidnapped twice. Her mother's ex wants to kill her husband and make her in charge of the world, and all she wants to do is be a good wife. Did anyone ask her if she wants to be on top of the world? No. Maybe she starts keeping a blade in her shoe or something because she's in danger all the time. I wanted her to do something proactive in acknowledgement of her precarious situation. Or maybe I just watched too many shonens. During season 1, especially the first half of season 1, I felt I wanted to see more of them falling in love with each other. But we do see that in the second season, which does make sense because it was an arranged marriage. You meet, you like each other, and so commit. And then that deeper knowing comes after. So that is a very realistic portrayal. I loved seeing Kyoka explicitly express his desire to know Mio more, to understand her thoughts and learn about her. Mio does the same, it just hit me harder when Kyoka did it because he's just so handsome and powerful. One thing I did want to see more of in the first season, in the first couple of episodes, is Kyoka deciding that she's the one, discovering the parts of her personality and who she is that he likes, contrasted against all the fiancés that came before and ran away, or he pushed away perhaps. Like right in the beginning, what made her different from the previous fiancés? Was it just his desire to protect her from her family that made the difference? We do see him find her beautiful, but I'm sure some of those other fiancés were beautiful too. Does she win him over by being so meek and apologetic? I'm not sure. Or maybe it's just that unspoken something that makes people fall in love. I could just be overthinking it because I just do that sometimes. Now, I do recognize that the storylines in this anime are serious and result in serious life or death situations, but I would have liked to see more fun and meaningful interactions between Mio and Kyoka. But I do think this could be because I just finished watching Apothecary Diaries and loved Jinshi and Mamoru's dynamic. I really like that Jinshi and Mamoru become friends. Sometimes friendship is an underrated aspect of romantic relationships, and also fun and enjoyment. But then perhaps that is an unfair comparison because this really isn't a fun times anime. And I don't say that as a negative because not everything needs to be fun, and there were also very serious moments in Apothecary Diaries. It's just that there was something in My Happy Marriage that I craved and didn't really get. The part of falling in love that's becoming friends. I think that's what I would have liked to see more of. But that can also be explained by Mio just being shy. I also would have liked to see more of her dealing with being from a powerful family and possessing an incredible ability. And again, perhaps being tempted by the power of that. More than just her being frustrated that she doesn't know how to use her abilities properly, we experienced more of her learning to be a proper lady than her reckoning with the fact that she is one of the most gifted people in the world, and with such an epic ability, the literal only one in the whole world with her power, and yet she was demeaned and degraded her whole life, which should make her mad. I kept expecting her to go to her grandfather or break into the Usuba mansion to find whatever materials they had on Dreamsite. Her grandfather and Arata were so vague about how to seize control of her powers, and she didn't really push back. There must be magical libraries and stuff, right? Or even asking Kyoka if he had any ideas on how she might control her power. I think the one time he says to her, "You'll learn how to control your ability in time," and I'm just like, how? But then I suppose after she awakened, she did just kind of inherently understand, so perhaps I'm in the wrong here. And yes, she did eventually go to her grandfather when Kyoka was in trouble and was captured. But I mean way before that. As soon as Prince Emperor was like, the Usubas are not going to be Usubaing like they were before, they're going to be open up, she should have gone back to find out how she can use her powers. Also, Usui, the second coming of Lord Aizen, was a great villain and built well from Season 1's foundations about the Usubas and devoting themselves so completely to their family and Emperor-given purpose. The expression on his face was so unnerving, and he was both tragic and evil, which I like. Another great performance by KG Tang. And speaking of the performances, I did not realize that Damien House from Smosh was a voice actor. You learn something new all the time. The detail that the Usubas have these kind of mental powers so that they can control others is also very interesting. I'm glad that they've decided to stop inbreeding. Also, if you've watched The Disastrous Life of Saiki K, then you know that Kyoko's mom and Saiki's grandfather are cut from the same cloth. I also think that Kyoko actually proposing to Mio and having her say yes was a very sweet and romantic moment to have, to show that they are both choosing each other and that this marriage is no longer an arranged marriage but a true love match. Before I end this video, I want to briefly mention my book, The Smoke That Thunders. It's a magical realism romance, so if you like My Happy Marriage, you might like this book too. It follows two people as they meet, fall in love, and then seemingly gain immortality. The story then follows them through the next century of their lives. So if you're interested in that, please check it out, link in the description. So that's going to be it for me. I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did, please like, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment if you'd like to say hello. I hope that you have a great day. I hope that you have a great week. See you in the next one. I'm Kayla. Bye.